About a month ago, I was watching a video and he posted this picture in the comments. When I saw it, immediately I knew what I was seeing. Quetzalcoatl is a deity in Aztec culture and literature whose name comes from the Nahuatl language and means precious serpent or Quetzal-feathered serpent. Snake print and feathers. Most people would think it's silly upper class fashion. It is, but it's an updated Mayan headdress. Al-Uzza is a pre-Islamic Arabian goddess, the youngest in the triad of goddesses with Manat and Alat, whose name means the goddess, as Allah means the god. They survived a bit, even into Islam, where they are called in the Quran the three daughters of Allah. The trio were worshipped as uncut, aniconic stones, and the idols of Al-Uzza and Alat were two of the 300 plus pagan statues at the Kaaba that were destroyed by Muhammad. She is a star goddess associated with the planet Venus and was honored by the Qurayshites, incidentally Muhammad's tribe, as one of their highest goddesses. She was reputed to accept human sacrifices. Originally Sabaean, worship of Al-Uzza spread all over Arabia. She had a sanctuary in a valley on the road from Mecca, comprising 3 acacia trees in which she was said to descend. The Greeks connected her with their Urania, the heavenly, an epithet of Aphrodite, as well as the name of a muse, with Caelestis, a moon goddess, and the Roman name for the Carthaginian Tanit. Al-Uzza is also sometimes identified with Isis. In Doctor Who, Cassandra is the last human. She's just skin stretched over a frame. Never forget, Cassandra was trans. Cassandra was born male. When I was a little boy down there. This is the stele of Al-Uzza. Nose, eyes and mouth inside of a square. Cassandra has a nose, eyes and mouth surrounded by a square frame. Al-Uzza is associated with Venus, who changes your gender, and Cassandra is trans. Steve wrote a book called I Was, with the rainbow, W for wizard, and the word Oz. The rune I Was, pronounced I Wows. This rune can thus be used in conjunction with other runes to keep the magic of the whole within reasonable bounds. I Wows symbolizes the yew tree and is a very powerful rune of banishing and protection. Initiation into the wisdom of the well tree, realization of the death-life mystery and liberation from the fear of death. On the right is the verbal intonation, I Wows, I Wows, I Wows. I Was, I Was. I Was, the imposing entity who dictated to Aleister Crowley the Book of the Law, Crowley's most significant and magical work. I Was made his entrance in April 1904 through the mediumship of Crowley's wife Rose, while the couple was on honeymoon in Cairo. Rose described I Was as an emissary of the Egyptian god Horus, son of Isis and Osiris. From I Was to Hawass, Zahi Hawass, the famous Egyptologist. I've seen him doing Masonic hand signs, so this is just another government shill. This necklace is the Hamsa. It has a fish in the center. I found a few Hamsa with fish in them. Here is the stele of Tanit with a fish above her. The hand of the philosophers. Legend has it the alchemist who understands this and can work with it has unlocked the secret of alchemy. The thumb is saltpeter, the index finger is vitriol, the middle finger is sal ammoniac, the ring finger is alum, the last finger is salt, the fish is mercury and the fire is sulfur. Now you understand why he drew a fish in his palm. I don't know what the 14 is. 1 plus 4 is 5. Maybe that represents the 5 symbols around the finger, or the 5 points of fellowship in Freemasonry. It also signifies Tanit, the fish above her on the left. The right stele is a hand with 2 doves, and there is an unspoken meaning as well. Firstborn sons and daughters were offered by Carthaginian parents as sacrifices in times of great problems, such as famine, war, drought, and plague. The 3rd century Greek writer Cleitactos wrote, "The Phoenicians, and especially the Carthaginians, whenever they seek to obtain some great favor, vow one of their children, burning it as a sacrifice to a deity to gain success. The ritual was carried out on moonlit nights. The ashes and remains were placed in a special graveyard presided over by the goddess Tanit. Children were expected to be offered willingly as an offering to Tanit. The rich were expected to offer their children like everyone else, but they often purchased substitutes from the poor." Depicted as an eye embedded in the palm of an open hand, the Hamsa symbol has had many numerous other names throughout the ages. Some scholars think the symbol is of pagan origin and was later adopted by other religions. It's possible the Hamsa symbol originates from Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, or Carthage, where Punic and Phoenician goddess Tanit was worshipped. Other researchers suggest that between 1550 and 330 BC, the Phoenicians used an image of the hand to represent Tanit, a patron goddess of their capital city Carthage and controller of the lunar cycle. The fish in the hand is alchemy, but I think most of the alchemy is connected to these gods. Tanit with a pillbox crown, the polos. She's dressed in a robe in the Greek style. Her jewelry consists of a glass paste necklace with graduated beads and gold earrings. That's the bust they were referring to. It says she wears a pillbox crown. Jack Kennedy was known for wearing pillbox hats. They look similar. Earrings and a pearl necklace. When I was searching pictures of Beyonce, I saw this, which reminds me of the new Suspiria film. The poster has a black figure with multiple arms. That made me think of Kali, the Dark Mother. In the poster, she's holding heads. And sometimes you see Kali holding a head. Her necklace is heads strung together. The many arms brings to mind the goddess Hecate. In Greek mythology, Hecate was a goddess associated with witchcraft, sorcery, magic, and the night sky. She was the protector of witches and sorcerers. Her name appears on many surviving curse tablets, accompanied by epithets like Chrysosandalima Potistonia, goddess of the lower world wearing golden sandals and drinking blood. She has 3 heads because she's a triple goddess. More poster artwork. The artist is obviously inspired by Hecate. Dakota represents the destructive form of the goddess. We have blonde, brunette, and redhead, the colors in alchemy. 3 heads indicate Hecate, and she's quite literally performing a Kali dance. Red, white, and black. I assume by her makeup she's the swan phase in alchemy. The white swan represents the marriage of opposites. Swans are rarely seen in flight, but rather floating on the surface of calm waters. This stage of the alchemist's development is known as the white swan. This speaks to the soul's evolutionary state, the soul's surface. The alchemist begins their spiritual journey, much like the Fool card in tarot, with a surface-level understanding of thyself, the inner world, and life. This is better known as the false self, but with the first introduction to the etheric world, higher self, something is forever changed. This initial spark is known as the white swan. I don't know if you noticed, but they are dancing on a sigil. Thought of as a symbol for solitude, a bird of life, and the elements of air and water. In Chinese culture, the swan is a solar bird and the symbol of yang. The triangle up is air, the triangle down is water and also womb. Solar means sun or fire. The hands forming the triangle in the center is fire, and it's on the solar plexus. Here's one more poster, all the alchemy colors, the eye inside of the palm. Hamsa in Sanskrit means swan. In yoga symbolism, it is how we describe someone who knows the laws of the physical and spiritual worlds. Uniting the physical, spiritual, and mental worlds is the ultimate quest of yoga. I think that's what she's doing with her hands, combining the spiritual world with the physical world. But it's 3 fingers, which is 3, 3, connecting to cinnabar or red mercury. On the left is the symbols for Tanit, on the right the symbols for Mercury, making Tanit or Ishtar the portal goddess. At the end of the film, her chest is cut open. I don't know why, because I haven't seen it and I don't want to see it, but that's what it truly represents. Sheila Nagig, the dark goddess of sacred power. Sheila is pulling her vulva open, and Dakota is doing the same thing. The Vesica Pisces was an unequivocally genital sign of the Sheila Nagig figures of old Irish churches. The squatting naked goddess displayed her vulva as a vesica, as did the temple door images of Kali in India. If you can't see that's a yoni, you aren't paying attention. No one's chest wound looks like a labia minora. These people worship a goddess. Janelle Monáe's new video clip is a bubblegum-toned ode to the vagina. Real women don't wear fanny trousers, and it's insulting because these are all men. The pictures of Suspiria look like Extinction Rebellion. Satanic rituals going on here in Cornwall, Carbis Bay, where the G7 is being held. Is this an enactment of The Handmaid's Tales? Does this surprise anyone? Very bizarre, even if it isn't what we know it is. This is Extinction Rebellion. They were protesting climate change, but of course are just a controlled art pushing the climate agenda. Part of the entertainment and opening for the G7 summit. I believe these creatures are there to represent Satan's bride and mock the bride of Christ, who are God's own people, that are being prepared to meet him for the great harvest. All the wild conspiracies we told you about for the last several years are all out in the open. These people are demonic, and they are clearly showing you who and what they serve. Exactly! That's what I said when I had my first channel. This group are not on the level. Suspiria, the ballet academy, is a front for a coven of witches. How can you not look at this and think it's witches in a circle doing a ritual? They're doing the sign of Osiris Risen just like Aleister Crowley. Cultist wearing red robes with a horned animal. Very similar cloak and eyes wide shut. Extinction Rebellion symbols connect to Ishtar. She rides on a lion. The eye in the palm is Tanit. The key because she's a portal goddess. The moon because she's a lunar deity. The hourglass is for her consort Saturn, also known as Baal Haman. Statue of Baal Haman, the chief god of Carthage. Baal Haman, a Carthaginian and Phoenician god, god of the sky in Carthage and the god of fertility and regeneration in Phoenicia. They wear the same hats? And the bloke behind her looks like Ashurbanipal. What are they doing? There's more artwork with animal heads. On my first channel I did a video about this. The animal masks is a satanic ritual called Das Teodrama, again connecting to the Wicker Man. The blue, red and green robes match this. Her red clothing, the green cloaks, and the blue in the back. Justice for all beings, animal rebellion. Bull worship is the oldest and most important cult, starting with Neolithic societies. Bull is the embodiment of sun, sky gods. If it's for all animals, why did you choose a bull? Another disturbing thing is they paint their hands red. Anat is the Canaanite warrior goddess, the maiden who loves battle, the virgin goddess of sacrifice, a warrior and archer. She's famous for having a violent temperament and for taking joy in slaughter. Reminding me of Asia Argento's post on red magic, which is using blood in rituals. Do you know who else has red palms? Kali Ma. Hu Shigeng's Chinese Fashion Week show was the stuff of nightmares. Before we get to that, who designed this repulsive thing here? The row of dots on the dress is the sacral foramina. The two wings at the top is the superior articular process. The long curved things resembling a love heart are the spine. The sacrum is at the base of the spine, so this dress literally represents sodomy. I really don't know what to say about this. You can never call this fashion. It's absolutely disgusting. On the right, we have the stele of Tanit. The figure has long ribbons in her hands, like the model. There's a person inside of a little house. It's actually a child who's been sacrificed to Tanit, and the model has heads all around her. The red hands on this model brought me to a band called In This Moment. I don't know if the singer is male because I haven't looked into it. Alchemy colors with bloody hands. The masked figures at the top, looking like Extinction Rebellion and eyes wide shut. Identical to Sabrina the Teenage Witch, because that's what they are. Extinction Rebellion tell me through symbols that they are enacting rituals. And this ties into Mask of the Red Death. The story takes place at the castellated abbey of the happy and dauntless and sagacious Prince Prospero. Prospero and 1,000 other nobles have taken refuge in this walled abbey to escape the Red Death, a terrible plague with gruesome symptoms. Victims are overcome by sharp pains, sudden dizziness, and profuse bleeding at the pores, and die within half an hour. Prospero and his court are indifferent to the sufferings of the population at large. They intend to await the end of the plague in luxury and safety behind the walls of their secure refuge, having welded the doors shut. Prospero holds a masquerade ball one night to entertain his guests in 7 colored rooms of the abbey. Each of the 6 rooms is decorated and illuminated in a specific color: blue, purple, green, orange, white, and violet. The last room is decorated black and is illuminated by a scarlet light. At the timing of midnight, the revelers and Prospero notice a figure in dark, blood-splattered robe resembling a funeral shroud. The figure's mask resembles the rigid face of a corpse and exhibits the traits of the Red Death. Prospero demands to know the identity of the mysterious guest so they can hang him. The enraged and terrified revelers surge into the black room and forcibly remove the mask and robe, only to find to their horror that there is nothing underneath. Only then do they realize the costume was empty and all the guests contract and succumb to the disease. Now this is from Stepford Wives. He says, maybe I could just use hundreds of pine cones to spell out the words Big Jew and letters 15 feet tall on the snow in my front yard. And I'm going to attach a pine cone to my vibrator and have a really Merry Christmas. I'll show you what he's referring to. The thyrsus was the rod of Dionysus, the Roman god of drink and pleasure. The thyrsus symbol is a pine cone on top of a fennel stalk with a headband tied to the shaft of the stalk. The pine cone was a symbol of immortality, and the thyrsus was also used by Maenads. There's a Maenad on a fawn with a thyrsus. I don't think she's checking his prostate. Like all of these gods, Dionysus has many names, and one of them is Pseudonor, literally false man, referring to his feminine qualities. He's a bit of a fruitcake, and it's not because he drinks wine. I saw this advert whilst on the bus. She's wearing a blue jacket and a blue ring. According to the Dictionnaire Infernal by Colin de Plancy, he commands 40 legions of demons and carries the title of prince. He's also an entity many looked to reconcile friends and foes and procure love for those seeking it. The Egyptians viewed Amun or Amun as the supreme god. They represented him with blue skin and a rather human form, and that's the sigil of Amun over there. Amun in the Pseudomonarchia Daemonum, where it describes Amun as a powerful marquis who rules 40 legions of devils. He appears as a wolf with a serpent's tail and breathes flames of fire. When he appears in human form, he has dog's teeth and a head like a raven. He knows of past and future things, can procure favor and reconcile friends and foes. And now comparing it with the sigil of Amun. The sigil is 3, which is 6. There's 4 cokes, which is 8, because Ishtar's symbol is the 8-pointed star. Kate is surrounded by mirrors. Lilith and mirrors. All mirrors are portals that lead to the cave of Lilith. Lilith and her offspring can travel anywhere in the world via mirrors. Through mirrors, Lilith and her offspring can tempt, deceive, and possess mortals. Coldplay has a concert going with this rainbow object, which is a CERN. They are literally in the metaverse, confirmed by the album. Music of the spheres, so it's likely Fibonacci frequency and math music. 12 songs of the album, 12 signs of the zodiac. At the top, the colors are purple, cerulean blue, and magenta. I see a Saturn cube. It's the Vesica Pisces in the center. The 3 Masonic pillars, the sun and the moon, with the eye portal in the center. The Ouroboros metaverse symbol below Saturn, connecting the metaverse to Baal. Magenta, purple, cerulean blue. Half of their faces are purple and half is blue. They are two-faced, which is Janus, god of the doorways. Pink, blue, and yellow is the pansexual colors, relating to the goat god Pan and opening portals. He's wearing orange, which is 33 in Gematria, again referencing Cinnabar and portals. His bracelets are the same colors. It connects to CERN, opening doorways for negative energy, which is what they've done. In 2015, CERN adding new collider to LHC 1000 times faster acceleration. The new accelerator project is smaller, called the Advanced Wakefield Experiment, AWAKE. Interesting how we've now got this woke culture, which is supposed to be the past tense of awake, but it's not. Miley Cyrus is cheekily sitting on a cock. Bahucharamata, the patroness of Hijra community. Bahucharamata is a Hindu goddess of chastity and fertility and her maiden aspect. She's also considered the patroness of the Hijra community. Hijra are eunuchs, but they're using it to mean transgender now. You see how Bahuchara is sitting? Miley is posed exactly like it. Here's Beyonce, who is failing to pass. Saturn earrings with a Saturn ring round his head. He's inside of a mirror box. The leotard has horns. Carthaginian god Baal Haman, lord of the 2 horns. Greek Cronus, Roman Saturn. In this photo, he's sitting on a horse. The goddess Hecate is sometimes standing on a horse. Hesiod said that Hecate is good in the stable with Hermes, and that she is standing by horsemen, those whom she favors. This suggests that there is some connection between Hecate and horses from early on. Her epiphanies for the Chaldeans included a horse flashing more brightly than light, or a child mounted on a swift back of a horse, or even a child shooting arrows standing upon a horse's back. They further describe Hecate as horse-faced. Is that horse-faced tranny? Alchemy colors. The weird hat is a CERN. CERN is 22 in Gematria, 1111 is Janus's number. He has a sun round his head with 2 fingers on each hand. 2, 2. The horse is red, representing fire. In the Chaldean tradition, the horse is a creature of fire, symbolic of Hecate's fiery soul. Sarah Illes Johnson interpreted the horse in relation to Hecate as a demon which serves her in the sublunar realms. These are some punks in silt. Look at her hair. Blue, magenta, and purple. She has an umbrella tattoo on the left eye. The right eye is the transgender symbol. Her tattoo is a horned animal with a rose. The horned animal is Pan /Cernunnos and womb worship. Pan is a pedophile fertility portal opening creature. Matey on the left is doing the one eye salute. He had his eyeball tattooed. The bloke in the back has a spiderweb tattooed on his forehead. You can be sure these are agents. Their symbols give them away. The story of Father Crespi is a mysterious and controversial account of a priest in Ecuador involving claims of unknown civilizations, strange golden artifacts, a subterranean cave system containing a metallic library, depictions of strange figures connecting America to Samaria, symbols depicting an unknown language, evidence of extraterrestrial contact, and a Vatican conspiracy involving thousands of missing artifacts. Figures from the Father Crespi collection identical to Assyrian figures. The punk and the lizard entity have the same hair, long in the front, short in the back. Tibetan monks wear a ceremonial hat that has the same appearance. Coincidence? We've come too far to believe in that.